Hey folks, Tony back with the video. We're going to get back to watching a player run, and it's not Ty Cobb or anyone remotely close to him, but it is another interesting ball player. You won't find this player in this book, nor would you find the player in the 100 Greatest Baseball Players of All Time by Lawrence Ritter and Donald Honig. You will find the player in the Picturing America's Pastime photography book by the Hall of Fame. You will also find this player in McCabe's Baseball Golden Age to Photography of Charles M. Conlon. We are talking about none other than Moe Berg. This is his first card, the 1929 R316 Cash-In Publications. These were actually issued with two different bottoms. This one here just has his name and his team. He was on the White Sox in 1929. Started with the Brooklyn Robins before they became the Dodgers. And you can also find this card with a Made in USA stamp on the bottom. It's a clear back, about 87 total graded, 100 cards in this set, and Charles Conlon photography is used for the majority of the cards. 25 came in a pack, and Babe Ruth came in every pack. We're going to look at a 1927-28 Type 1 photograph of Moe Berg. And even though the PSA label says 1920s, I narrowed it down to 1927 or the 28 season because of the White Sox logo. If you look closely, the O in Sox looks like a sideways zero. The Sox only used that logo for 2 years, 27 and 28. This was originally in a scrapbook. It was removed by some previous owner, and now it's in my collection. Next card is the 1933 Gaudy Moe Berg, his first prominent issue, iconic set. A little bit over 1,000 of these graded. Next we have the 1933 Worldwide Gum, the Canadian release of the Gaudy set. Looks the same on the front. The difference is on the back. It has both English and French text. About 56 of these totally graded. Now, I could give a history of Moe Berg. There has been a horrible movie made about him. I suggest you check out the books, namely Catcher Was a Spy. These were issued with candy, supposedly, the 34 batter-ups. And about 67 of these have been graded in total. Next up is the 1936 National Chickle, who also happened to make the batter-up cards. These are known as the fine pen due to the thickness of the facsimile signature on the card. Also blank back. By this time, Berg was already playing for the Boston Red Sox. His first season for the Red Sox was 1934. He only played with the Brooklyn team for 1 year because he got bored, decided to go back to school, got his law degree, hated practicing law, did a lot of other things. This time he was also pretty famous in America for going on radio game shows and doing pretty well till he irritated the host and the producers. About 97 of these graded. Here we have the 1939 Play Ball sample. These came out before the initial release. Play Ball reps went to various retail stores, including candy, wholesale, and wherever their cards would be sold, and gave it away as a sample. says free sample on the back. I'll take a picture and include it in this video so you can read it easier. Only 8 of these have been graded so far. If you compare it to someone like Joe DiMaggio from the same set, who also has a sample card, there's about 40 to 50 of them. Another pretty famous quote I heard about Moe Berg was from Casey Stengel. He said, "Moe Berg is the strangest man ever to play baseball." Which reminds me, another famous quote was by Ted Lines, who said that Moe Berg can speak 7 languages but can't hit in any of them. Maybe that would be a good title for this video. Next card is the 1939 play ball, Moe Berg. Looks pretty much the same as the previous one without the red stamping on the back. About 566 of these have been graded. Just want to take a quick look at this one. It's missing an entire corner. Still got the 2. Grading standards haven't changed. Last card we're going to look at for my Moe Berg collection is the 1940 play ball. They reused the 1936 National Chickle photograph. About 492 of these have been graded, which is unusual to me because if you compare it to the 1939 card, various sources say the 40 set was produced, give or take, 50% less than the 1939 issue. So if there's 566 of these graded, 492 of these graded, and you look at other players and you see that nearly 2-to-1 ratio on average, makes you wonder which has the more accurate pop report. I don't know. The last thing I like to talk about is how Moe Berg was viewed as a player during his career and afterwards. This is the very first Beckett price guide. It was called The Sport Americana when published in 1979. All Moe Berg cards that I showed you today were about the same price as common players. Fast forward to the 5th edition, which came out in 1983. All Moe Berg cards were valued slightly higher than common players. He was more on par with stars who weren't Hall of Famers. So that's just something to consider about Moe Berg. In addition to that, real quick, he was considered a great defensive catcher. His fielding ability was well above average. The pitchers loved him. He was a favorite teammate. None of his teammates ever said anything bad about him other than he was weird. But Moe Berg loved playing baseball, and his teammates know it. Lefty Grove enjoyed Moe Berg being on the team so much that he was his preferred catcher. Now, Berg started as a shortstop with Brooklyn. He was a typical light-hitting shortstop. He moved to catcher in the late 1920s as a member of the White Sox because Ray Schalk needed a catcher. 3 consecutive catchers on the team got hurt, and Berg volunteered, and he won the catching job. He made wonderful plays, and those plays have been documented. He got a chance to play with Ted Williams in 1939. He went to Japan. He became an ambassador for baseball, teaching the Japanese in 1932 and 1934 how to play baseball. Lefty O'Doul gets a lot of credit for that, but Moe Berg also deserves it. Then we consider his accomplishments working for our government. The OSS, which stands for Office of Strategic Services, was the predecessor of the CIA. In 1934, before he was an employee, he recorded a city in Japan on top of a hospital, gave it to the OSS, and they used it for planning. Then in 1943, the OSS gave him an order to attend a lecture in Zurich, Switzerland, that German physicist Werner Heisenberg was presenting the atomic bomb. And the order specifically was for Berg to kill Heisenberg if he thought that the Germans made great strides in atomic research, because the American government did not want to have Germany have that type of power. Berg thought that the Germans were not close enough to development of the atomic bomb, so he didn't kill Heisenberg. Then later in life, he became even more strange. His behavior during his playing career was considered mysterious. If someone asked him a question about his personal life, he would put his finger up to his mouth and just say shh, like he was concealing a secret. As he grew older, made some bad investments, and he ended up dying a lonely man. Fought with his sister, even though he shared a house with her. Moved in with his brother on and off. Fought with his brother, and died in 1972. A lonely man, but he was always interested in baseball. Supposedly his last words were asking about if the Mets won. I hope you enjoy this video.